Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Meredith Phillips. I'm a writer, reader, and bunny mama. Last week I shared with you the journey I've been on with journaling since I first started journaling seriously when I was in high school. If you want to check out that video first, I'll have it linked in the cards here and also down below. But today I wanted to share with you where I am currently with journaling and what I'm doing to continue the habit of writing down the daily ins and outs of my life. It looks a little bit different now than it did in the past, and as you saw in my last video, it's changed and evolved and become different things for me at different times in my life. A couple months back, I really wanted to get back into a consistent journaling habit. I tried off and on the last, year or two, and it really hadn't stuck. One of the problems I was finding was that I was waiting until later in the day, usually after work, after dinner, and sometimes at that point my concentration is just shot, and I really don't want to have to pick up a pen and physically write anything. It's just not something that I tend to want to do later in the evening. The other thing was that oftentimes I would get distracted with other stuff. I would want to watch YouTube videos. I would want to do novel writing activities. I would have my writers group I was going to. I would want to play Zelda because I bought Ocarina of Time for the N64 and really wanted to play that all the time. I didn't know where to fit it in. I didn't know how I wanted this to look. I don't remember where I saw it, but I was reintroduced to the idea of morning pages. This is from Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way, which was a book that came out in 1992. And I remember hearing about morning pages and the idea of morning pages all the way back in high school. At the time, it really wasn't what I wanted to do because it does involve getting up and immediately journaling, and that did not sound appealing to me back in the day. But now it kind of seemed like maybe something I would want to try. So very similar to my high school self, I decided to challenge myself. I thought, let's try this for a whole month and see what happens. So for those of you who are not familiar with the idea of morning pages, it is simply the idea that as soon as you get up in the morning, you sit down and you write. It does not matter what you write, but it has to be constant. You're supposed to continue writing, even if all you're writing is, I don't know what to write, blah, 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 I don't know what to write. Like, it doesn't matter, just write. And you're supposed to handwrite 3 full pages. What is a page? I don't think it's ever super defined. I mean, I think it's supposed to be a substantial page worth. Typically, I think you're encouraged to write 3 pages that are like a letter size page, 8.5 by 11. The only real rule with these pages is that you don't stop writing and you do it every day. My mornings are typically pretty structured, especially on work days. I do work from home on a regular basis. Obviously, now a lot more people are working from home, but I work from home on a regular basis. I like sleeping in. I like sleeping until I have to get up to have time to get ready. My previous schedule had been getting up at 6:20 in the morning, eating, showering, and then being ready to sit down at my desk to start working by 7:30. So I really only had about an hour and 10 minutes to get ready. And there was no time in there to fit in 3 pages worth of writing. So I did make the choice to start getting up a little bit earlier. I wasn't sure initially how long 3 pages of handwritten work would be for me or how long that would take me. I decided to start getting up at 6 in the morning. That is not a huge sacrifice. It's an extra 20 minutes early. I don't think 20 minutes is gonna make or break my day in terms of how rested I feel, so I thought that's a compromise I was willing to make. So I started getting up at 6, and I would get coffee first because, please, I would get some coffee first, and then I would come into this room and I would sit down and I would start to write. So this is where I end up in the morning, and I sit down here at this desk and I write, and this has been so good for me. It's been a really dedicated time. That was really important to me because like I said, in the evenings things can get busy or I can get distracted with other stuff that I'd rather be doing, and this getting up a little bit earlier provided a really specific time for me to write with no distractions. It wasn't breakfast time, it wasn't time yet to get ready for work. I had plenty of time to just sit and write. So when I started, I decided to go to Barnes & Noble and see if there was a notebook there that looked good to me, and I found this one, which I thought was pretty perfect. It says, "I'll call for pen and ink and write my mind," which is from King Henry VI, the Shakespeare play. The only thing I did not realize about this journal, if you happen to see it also and are interested in picking it up, the first half is lined paper and the second half is blank, which I didn't realize. So I ended up only using the first half of it because I really wanted lined paper. That's just what I wanted at the time. I've used journals in the past without lines. I've used lined paper, I've used graph paper before, so it just depends on what mood I'm in, I guess. But for this, I really wanted lines. So I started writing every single day in the morning in this notebook, and I again committed myself for a month to see just how far I could get. Well, here we are at the time of filming this. It is the beginning of July and I'm still going. I haven't missed a day yet, which I'm really proud of. And I've actually filled up 2 more journals, and I've started another one. I just hit the halfway point in this one this morning, so that's pretty cool. These journals are awesome. I really love them. They've got that kind of, I don't know what to call it. It's that weird texture that is almost kind of velvety. These are from, I got them at Target. They come in a little bundle pack with 3 notebooks in the bundle, but the brand is Opal House. So if you're interested, it's the Opal House brand at Target. To me, these are just like the perfect size. They're a great, they're a great size just to hold in your hand, and they're floppy, which I really like that right now. The line spacing, to me, again, is really the perfect line spacing. It's not too big, not too small, and they're not huge. The other thing that sometimes derails me when I'm working in a journal, if it's a really big journal, just like a lot of pages, it takes you a long time to get through it, and sometimes I get bored. So I like having, a different cover kind of to look forward to every so often. So these ones tend to last me about a month and a half. Then I get to pick out the next one. In my mind, this has been the best way this year to start my day. It's been amazing. One of the things I really appreciate about this is that it lets me think through the pros and cons of life, all the different little decisions we have to make, big and small. I'm able to write that out. And honestly, there's been a couple times recently where I've been thinking about maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that, and I've convinced myself one way or the other within these pages. So for example, right now I am in the middle of 5 full days off of work, which is crazy because I haven't had that much time off of work in literally a year and a half. I did take some time off last year, but we were moving halfway across the country, so I don't feel like that really counts because I was moving, which is huge and stressful and a lot of work. But I haven't had like vacation days, like actual relaxing days in like a year and a half. So I decided to take off some extra days, and it's awesome. And I first pitched myself the idea in these morning pages earlier this last month, I guess, and convinced myself, yeah, you should take off some extra days because you have been working real hard and you need some time off. So that's been one really great thing for me in these morning pages. The other thing that has been really interesting, again, I started in this book literally on March 1st. Let's think back all the years back to March 1st. What was going on was the pandemic was really kind of getting started. So this journal right here, these morning pages, is really a record of this time, which has been certainly not what I was expecting. At the beginning of March, of course, things were starting to become a little bit nerve-wracking, to say the least, but nothing had really started to shut down quite yet. And it is crazy. It is crazy to look at the March 1st entry in here, the March 1st and 2nd entry in here, versus like the March 31st entry when everything had been shut down at that point. Pretty much. I mean, just from sort of a historical perspective, I'm really happy that I have this because it is a first-person account of how things went down in this area of the country and at the country at large. Putting those kinds of thoughts and feelings and sort of recording the news for the day has been a great way to keep the stress and anxiety that a lot of people have experienced during this time. It helped to kind of keep it at bay for me. I put the stress and anxiety in the notebook and I just kind of left it there. It helped me process through the crazy stuff we're going through right now. The other super important thing with journaling in general, but for me personally with these morning pages recently, has been the ability to put down really negative thoughts without affecting anyone else. One of the things I tend to be, please, I am always like the glass half full kind of person. There's very rarely times where I am super negative and really down about things. I definitely tend to be optimistic, even in situations where that's kind of a misplaced optimism. But that's how I tend to be. But I do have negativity sometimes within me. And so putting that in these pages and letting it be there without having it affect other people has been a really great outlet for me. So if you are interested in starting morning pages yourself, I would highly recommend checking out Julia Cameron's, again, The Artist's Way. It's really supposed to be like a workbook or a workshop actually of 8 weeks where you do the morning pages and you do some other exercises that she has in the book. But if you want to just read about how she suggests doing the morning pages, you can. There's other videos too on YouTube from other people who do this or have done this in the past, and it's fantastic. Definitely give it a shot. Let me know in the comments, have you ever tried morning pages before, or does getting up and writing immediately sound terrible to you? Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. If you are interested in more content from me, I do post videos every Tuesday and Friday, so hit the subscribe button below and my videos will show up in your subscription box when I post them. I'm also active on Instagram. You can find my account over there at Meredith Phillips Writes. I'll have all the links in the description below. Again, thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Bye!